Hey everybody, today I want to talk to you a little bit about some accessories that are specific from Red. Now, as you know, Red comes out with a full package of stuff for both the Epic and the Scarlett. You can pretty much get everything you need from them. However, there may be reasons to sometimes go to third-party vendors for certain things. A lot of that can be a specific design choice that they may have made that's different from Red, or in some cases it can also be price. Today I want to talk to you about both of Red's mounting solutions. Now we have two that are here. One is a rail mounting solution. This one here happens to be using 19 millimeter rails. You can swap this out with 15 millimeter lightweight. Okay. This one is not for rails. This one is more for using on a tripod. These are both quick release platforms. However, the rail system is a little unique in its quick release. In that, what I mean by that is the way that a rail system works is it uses a plate like this, which we normally would call an airy dovetail. It's a specific size and measurement, flat piece of metal, and this is designed to actually slide onto that, and then it allows you to balance your camera depending on the amount of weight that you have. When you deal with these heavier rigs, follow focuses, map box, things like that, you're going to need a longer axis to balance the camera on, simply because there's just so much more weight. If you have a lot of batteries, you may need to move the camera all the way forward on this thing to counterbalance the amount of weight you've got on batteries in the back. Okay, so that's the purpose of it. And the rails, of course, or the rod holders, which are here and here, their main function is basically, this is what you mount everything on, map boxes, follow focuses, etc. Now, what sets Red's stuff apart is the design, the amount of engineering that has gone into it, which is an incredible amount. First off, you screw a plate itself, a proprietary plate from Red, to the bottom of your Epic, and that plate will live there. It's not a riser. Most of the other third-party vendors need to use risers in order to get the camera to be the right height for their individual plate, because all the map boxes are based on a certain height from the bottom of the rail to the center of the lens. So there is usually, with third-party vendors, a riser that you would have to attach to the bottom of your Epic or Scarlett, and then that, in turn, would connect to the third-party plate of your choice. Now, in Red's case, obviously, they have pre-made their stuff to be the exact height that your Epic or Scarlett would need, because of course, it's proprietary. It's for Red, so they're not worried about being compatible with anybody else at this point. What's neat about it is that every single thing can be quick released using this lever here. This lever is to actually lock it onto the rails, but this lever here is a quick release so that the camera will come off of it. Now, what's cool, if you think about it, is that means that you can have this whole rig set up with a follow focus, a map box, everything can be on this. And then if you need to, click, bam, pull your camera off of that rig, and then go and throw it on a tripod. So the idea, at least in Red's mind, is that you're probably going to have one of these, okay? But you're going to probably have a few of these. And one could live on a hi-hat, one could live on a regular tripod, one could be living on a dolly. That's mainly where the advantage of this sort of thing comes in. The engineering on these things is as top flight as it gets. They are wonderful, wonderful pieces of gear. What's the catch? Well, the catch is that they're fairly expensive if you compare them to other third-party vendors that are trying to do similar things. However, you will notice that the third-party vendors, most of them, their engineering is not as involved as Red has gone. Red went all out with these things. They went crazy with safety catches, printing. I mean, the whole 9 yards. Everything about these things is as good as you're going to get. What's my personal opinion? Well, if you can afford it, get it. Definitely. If you can afford it, get it. I mean, they went all out with these things to make them as good as they can. However, there are other choices if these are outside of your budget, because you're into a little over $2,000 to get two of these things. And I would not recommend getting one and not the other. Unless you never use rails, well then yeah, it's perfectly okay to go ahead and just get the tripod mount version. But if you know that you use rails, well, you probably at some point use a tripod. So really, the package you're going to need is you're going to need this, you're going to need this. You're going to need those two things to really be outfitted. However, they are fantastic pieces of gear, so it's one of those things where if you can afford it, I would definitely get it. There's a big debate right now between third-party gear, Red gear. You get what works for you, but Red is definitely trying to hit the top end when it comes to accessories, and that's wonderful. That's good for us. So depending on where your shoot's taking you and the budgets that you have, you'll have a lot of choices, and Red's supportive of the third-party vendors just as they are supportive of their own stuff. So I wanted to give you just a brief overview of these two items. As I said, this one's for tripod only. This one is for mounting on an area plate and using a rail setup. It's a fantastic piece of gear, both of them. Check them out at the Red store. See if that's the way you want to go. Of course, we'll be looking at all the other options as well.